mirror. And even in Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon. Good morning. Thanks for hitting the replay. Share this out if you're not here physically in person to have another episode with me, Cynthia Manion, on the Cynthia Manion Show. Our guest tonight is Dame Dr. Hoa Nguyen. She's an international keynote speaker, philanthropist, CEO of Blacksteel Investment Group and Eyepieces, and best-selling co-author of Powerful Woman, Immigrants and Persistence, Pivots and Game Changers. And she was the Businesswoman of the Year. Please join me in welcoming the lovely, the wonderful Dame Dr. Hoa Nguyen. Woo-hoo!
Thank you. What a warm welcome. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's an honor to have you here. It's an honor to have you here. It was so much fun meeting you. We knew just a little bit about her from when she came in. She was born in a Philippine refugee camp and arrived in the US at age 8. And she turned every challenge into fuel to help others create the lives they desire. And she is still doing that at the almost the highest level you can get to, next to God, Jesus, whoever you believe in the world. It is amazing. She has that power, that instinct, that story inside of her. And I first met her in a limo in Orlando in July of 2023. And we've got a couple of fun pictures here. I thought I'd share. You can talk us through them. Here we are at the first event, and we're all dressed up and fancy. So it was really fun. Eric's going to pop those up for us right now. And look at us. Look at us. And the lovely ladies that are with us. And I know Charlotte Frost is a little cut off there, but she's written 7 children's books now, the Frog series. And that was my roommate next to her. And me. And then she was the birthday girl and you. And it was a beautiful place. Look at that. It was a sunset time right there. And we're all in elegantly dressed black. And what else do we have? We had some fun times. Check it out. The girls doing the girl thing, trying to make Hoa feel at home with our Filipino Hawaiian decorations here. And we danced the night away. We played games. There was a big mansion. There was 2 or 3 of them that we stayed at, and we went mansion hopping there. And this one was the fun one with all the toys. I think there's a slide or something that we were all coming down. Is that
arcade and slides?
Oh yes, it was very fun. And there was a president impersonator there. And you look so beautiful. Look at the lovely ladies,
Aww.
And look at that game room. This is inside someone's house. They had this huge game room, and they had a movie theater room. And each one of the bedrooms was done in a different motif, right? There was the Hobbits one, and there was a Star Wars one. Oh, and there's Jaime, your beautiful husband, Dr. Jaime Gonzalez. Also an eye doctor. And that is an unbelievable story that we can't wait to tell you. And here we are just doing our thing, probably hurrying up to get, what are we doing?
I think we're taking pictures of the president impersonator.
I think you're right. Oh,
maybe, I'm not even sure.
It was so much fun. And that was a great way to meet you. And I'm so glad we've maintained our friendship over 23, 24, 25, almost going on 3 years. Hey, Alex, thanks for joining us. So my wonderful guest tonight was born in a refugee camp. Oh, I forgot. Oh, wait, that's how she got to be a dame. Look at this. The Order of Constantine the Great and Helen something.
In St. Helen, yes.
In St. Helen. Tell us a little bit about that. And there's their daughter, Naji. And she is like 10 or 11 now. That was a little earlier. Look at that beautiful family. You can see why she calls that gentleman there
My lover.
her lover. Isn't that lovely? That they've been married quite a while too, and she still calls him like
We
19
made
years.
20 years this year, Cynthia.
20 years. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's fabulous. Let's give it up for 20 years. And still calling him a lover. And he's still
been a blessing in my life for sure. Absolutely.
So it was funny because I'm thinking that although we only met almost 3 years ago, our paths have kind of been like this. You're not going to believe this because you were born in the Philippines in the refugee camp because you came over from Vietnam with your brother. You were still in the tummy. You were still nice and warm and protected. That must have been so scary for your mom. I can't imagine.
Yeah, because they fled the war. So then from Vietnam, after they fled Vietnam, they went to the refugee camp in the Philippines, and then they had me.
Can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, how blessed we are? Just think of going through that as a new mom. You had two brothers, older brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And where are they now?
Well, one's he's in the Navy. He's a commander in the Navy in Washington State right now.
Nice.
And then one brother passed away.
I have a brother who passed away too.
Mm.
I can't believe this. And after the Philippines, you went to Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in Germany when I was 3 and 4 years old. My dad was in the United States Air Force, and we were in Ramstein and Frankfurt. And I got a brother there.
Wow.
My brother was born there. And German was my first language.
Was my second language.
Yeah. And you speak 3 now or more?
Well, technically 4, but I've lost German, so I can't really consider German much anymore. But that was my second language.
Yeah, I was thinking if they took us and dropped us in Germany, would it come back to us? Hi, Tim. Hey,
Hi,
two of my favorite leaders. Great to see you both at one event. Thank you, Tim, for being here. We're having the best time already because she's so amazing.
No, you're amazing.
Oh, we are amazing. You are amazing.
Cynthia just taught me the chant.
I am amazing. We are amazing. So, from being born in the Philippines, what is the first memory that taught you resilience was possible?
You know, my memories, I don't remember anything except for when I was in Germany. My earliest memories are really from there.
Mm-hmm.
And
mine too?
Yes, I mean, very humble beginnings. But, I never, even though in hindsight, when I look back now, because I didn't know any different growing up, right? I didn't I didn't know I didn't have, I was just fine, right? Mm-hmm. So even though it was humble beginnings, I just remember my brothers, I was very close with my brothers. My parents were always busy working. That's what I remember in childhood is my brothers and I were pretty much taking care of ourselves because our parents were always busy, busy, busy. And then when we came to the US and we were moving all over the place and they were just looking for work, 100-hour work week was not uncommon for my parents to make ends meet, right? And so I remember doing much together as a family except for work. And so when I was 10 years old, I remember starting to work. And the only way I was able to spend more time with my parents was to go to work and be with them in the family business. And so those are kind of my memories, was always the hustle and the work, Even when I was little at home, before we went to the actual work, my mom was really strict. And so she always made sure I knew how to do all the household and cooking and cleaning at a very young age. So 8 years old, I knew how to cook and clean very well.
Wow. And that's a skill many of us don't have currently.
Yeah. But it was a blessing because those hardships taught me a lot of skills, that are, very much needed, daily skills that are needed. But it's, I think they're blessings, even though those are challenges. It's molded me to who I am today, right? And so the work ethic, and I think my parents were very good at instilling good values and ethics at a very young age. And so that's always stuck with me, you know.
It's the most important thing. Jake says, "Hey guys, another inspiring woman. Enjoy the beautiful season." Thank you, Jake,
Oh.
for being here with us. We appreciate you. He's down from the down under. And for anyone feeling stuck today, what's the one mindset shift that carried you from refugee camps to CEO? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you will not believe this woman.
Mhm. I think gratitude and grounding. I've always, regardless of like for me, what title or different stages and seasons of my journey, I've always been very grateful, you know, for the present moment. And so, whether I was doing nails or whether I was working in a food industry or whether I'm a doctor, it doesn't matter the title. At the end of the day, my heart is always wanting to help people. You know, I always saw that with my parents growing up, and just helping people in whatever way that I could, in whatever avenue. And so when I go through hard times, I make an effort to not put the focus on me, and just be grateful for the simple things that we take for granted. You know, our family, the simple, just the breath of life. You know, and just God, and just, you know, if I wake up today, it's a good day. I
Yes,
have another chance, right? And
exactly.
whatever, you know, and so I view it in that lens. And we all go through different challenges and different seasons that can be stressful, but I think that grit and resilience and the humility and gratitude to stay grounded, to know that, hey, there's always an opportunity to grow. These are lessons learned. All challenges are opportunities for us to be able to, you know, grow deeper, and reflect. And I think those have been the best times, or the challenging times, because it helps me slow down and really take inventory and reflect on, you know, and in a kind of getting back into alignment.
Mm, yes, and taking the moment to appreciate how far you've gone. You guys, you can't just keep going and going and going and going. You have to take a moment to
Yeah,
let it sink in and go, "Wow," because our
absolutely.
lives are wow.
Yeah, it is. And it's, you know, it's really easy to get into the busy mode, you know, to get into this success mode of external things. And I think it's really important as we're building the external and all these things, these accolades and things and impact, we also make sure that internally, deep down, that it's authentic, and that your vision and your mission and purpose is like, it can pivot through your journey, but we've got to make sure that it's authentic to what we want internally, because sometimes it's easy to want to please others, and you know, trying to kind of go by society's
Mhm.
definition of what success means. And so I think, being able to really understand, why am I doing this, and is this still in alignment? And if I need to pivot and transition, which I've done multiple times, it's okay to do that. It's scary, but it's okay to do that.
Yes. You're a mother foremost, or a wife, mother, that would be a hard one to put one in front of the other, especially since you still call him lover. Oh, you're so lucky, Jaime. Have such a beautiful wife. You co-founded Blacksteel Investment Group and Eyepieces. What's the boldest risk you took to build them?
You know, starting as an entrepreneur, because when we graduated, Jaime and I graduated 19 years ago, and we came out of school with a lot of debt. Like, we had over $350,000 of student loan debt combined. And we both are very humble beginnings. And being an entrepreneur, like being a doctor, they don't teach you business, right? And so the type of business I grew up in was small mom and pop shop business, not anything like practices, but that was our dream. And so when you open a practice, the risk of leaving a six-figure income working for someone else to then buying your own practice and building, it's a lot of upfront capital that we had to put out. Plus, we had a lot of debt. And so the risk, is, number one, learn the ropes of being a business owner, right? And then also putting a lot of our money in, is like we were putting everything into our dream of building this our practice. And so the first year, you're not paying yourself. You're working crazy hours, just building the business, right? But that was something that, we knew going in that that's what it took.
Mm-hmm.
So after that first year, then it was able to accelerate. But that was hard knowing that, hey, we don't have a backup plan at this moment. We're putting all the money that we had saved, right? We worked for someone else for 4 years. We were doing 6, 7 days a week, you know, living frugal. We still lived like college students, even though we were doctors. And we took all that money that we earned those 4 years and we purchased our first practice, and that took all of our money. And so it was full dedication. Like, this is it. Like, we're putting all of it in. All our time, all our money, all our resources, and we have to learn as we go. And so a lot of it is, as we were working for someone else, we were also continuing our self-education. We never stopped our continuing education and like learning business acumen, personal development. Like, the formal education stops at the doctorate, but the self-education is never ending. Like, we are constant learners, and we constantly surround ourselves around different communities and masterminds, and we're always learning. And I think that's been one of the big things is, even when we pivoted from the eye care to real estate, like that was a whole nother chapter, but it's the same type of risk. It's like you're starting something you have no knowledge of, but your heart and you believe you can do it. And so you're putting a lot of time and capital into starting a business like that.
And this is not just any little business, ladies and gentlemen. This is a $500 million business, or is it more now?
Well, it's 640 million, right? But it's a lot of capital. So when we started, like, we sold, like, when we transitioned, when my daughter was born, she was born in 2014. And I remember back then with our practices, I was still working 6 days a week, even in our own practice. We had 2 practices by that time. And I remember after having our baby, I went back to work 2 weeks after I had her, right?
Yeah.
And I remember being in the restroom, pumping, and I was like coming home 7 p.m. and I was so exhausted. I was like, did I work all my life to build my businesses? It took us forever to get pregnant, and I always wanted to be a mom. And I said, I thought after 6 or 7 years of trying that we couldn't get pregnant. And after finally having her, I was like, okay, I have to be able to have more time freedom. I have to be able to have more, I want to be a mom, but I also want to be a career woman. Like, I've worked really hard to be here. Like, there's got to be something else. And that's where we transitioned into learning about real estate. And my family was so against it because they're like, you're a doctor. You've worked really hard. You put all your time and money to build these businesses and your practices. And now you're going to go do something else? Like, what do you know about real estate? Nothing. I said, well, everybody starts somewhere. And they started not knowing. Like, we've always been able to leverage and build meaningful relationships and partner. Like, I'm not going to do this on my own, Mom. Right. And I was like, and so Jaime and I just, we talked about it, and I said, let's pivot. And I still want to practice, but I want to have flexibility where I can go in and work a few days out of the week, and we can have more revenue to hire more doctors so that we can grow our capital in different ways. And then we can even have more flexibility to do our, charity trips and things. I want to travel the world. I want to be able to get out there and do more things, And so that's how that started. 2015, 2014, my daughter was born. 2015, we jumped into real estate.
Ooh, ooh. Patricia Geikich is with us, and she says, understand intention and results. And boy, do you do that to the 100th degree times 100. We appreciate you being here, Patricia. How's things? So for mothers balancing family and big dreams, how do you stay present with your daughter while running global companies? Because you got a lot going on there, sister.
Yeah, my husband makes fun of me. He calls me the MD, the master delegator. I've had to learn how to, I used to be the do it all, right? I do it best. I know it gets done if I do it. And but I had to learn as I was growing and scaling my business that I had to hire good people and delegate and train and have systems in place. And that was really important to build efficient systems. And the most important is the people. Like everyone who comes to be part of our team is part of the family. We don't call them we don't call them staff. We don't call them team members. We call them family, right? And so, regardless if it's in our eye care practice or if it's in our real estate business, like these are people you see and work with, and it takes a lot of trust. And so, making sure that we're very intentional in building the culture. Like we hire very slow, but it was really important that the energy was positive and everybody was in alignment with the vision and the mission of what we were building. And so that was a big part of being able to delegate some roles off and get things off of my plate, and making sure that we had checks and balances, because it's very important that there are efficient checks and balances, even if I'm not physically there as often, that those still get done, right? And so that was a big part of, as I was transitioning, was making sure I created systems. Jaime and I would create systems where I would double check and somebody else in the team would be able to kind of like double check to make sure everything is, and we have a good pulse. And so people think I'm busy all the time, but the truth is I have excellent team members, and I have people who become family, who we, I can't do it alone. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I do a lot of mindfulness and meditations and breath work. And so I don't start my day just going straight to my phone or, social media or checking emails. I'm very intentional in setting my day with meditations, with breath work, and practicing being present. It's a practice. Otherwise, your mind goes, it's like we call it the wild monkey, right? The mind wants to go everywhere. And so it is important. So if I'm at my practice, I'm very intentional in taking care of my patients and my family there. If I'm at home with Jaime and with our daughter, I'm very intentional that all my energy is there. And if I'm at real estate, like wherever I am with my business partners, or my apartments or wherever I am, I want to make sure I'm fully present there. But that takes a lot of practice, because it's very easy for us to be physically here, but our mind is wandering and thinking about the next thing already. Learning to be present is something I've gone really deep in, and been very intentional about.
That's beautiful. Do you hear that, everyone? Because it really works. Look at where she is now. It really, really works. And I want to say hi to our little podcast family here, because Robert Brooker is saying hello to everybody. He says, hello, Cynthia. Hello, doctor. Sorry, I got a little tongue-tied there. Hello, Doctor Hoa Nguyen. Hello, Patricia Geikich. Hello, Jake Hobson. Hello, Tim and Alex Sorba. Thank you for being here with us and being part of the podcast family. You guys are so loyal. We appreciate you, because we wouldn't have so much fun without our audience, right? Because we have to have someone to speak to, so that you can probably pick up these little nuggets and possibly improve your own life or someone else's. So share this out, because she just dropped a lot of little nuggets that you hear it all the time, but you never know what day you're going to get that little one. It's like food and water. You need it every day. Every day you need your meditation. Every day you need to take your time. And we've got Dan Altmeyer saying hello to all. Thank you for joining us. Well, Dan, she has 2 powerful books out, right? Powerful Woman and Immigrants and Persistence. And Pivots and Game Changes are bestsellers. So what story from your life had to be in those pages?
I shared a little bit of my journey and the resilience and the lessons learned, that kind of carried me through some of those challenging times. But I always say, even in the book, the blessings, because I honestly believe if I had a comfortable a life with not many challenges, I would not have been able to grow and realize how strong and resilient I truly am. And I've met beautiful souls along my journey. And so I never claimed that I'm self-made. I've had a lot of beautiful souls that have been part of my journey. I have a lot of mentors, a lot of friends, partners, colleagues. And so I just am so blessed, that anyone in my journey, whether I think everybody comes in for, one of my coaches would say, everyone comes into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Mhm. That's a good one. That's a good one. Right now, it's a season for kindness too, everybody.
Yes.
So take a breath and be kind to those people in the shopping center, in the parking lots who are running over. And you're a dame. So what moment made you realize your impact had gone global?
That was, my 2 years ago, I was nominated, and they have different categories where they, for the Royal Order. And they had me under, for both entrepreneurship and for philanthropy, you know. And I had been doing a lot of charity work. Some of it people know a lot, and a lot of work I do I don't post about, or I'm pretty quiet about. But through these organizations, a lot of people are also part of the Royal Order, and so they nominated me to be part of that, and my husband alongside that.
Oh,
And it's
so
a mission
it's
to
nice
serve.
for Baron.
Yeah. And so it's just been a blessing to be able to collaborate, and do more global missions together with the Royal Order. And it's all to serve, right?
Right. Give back.
To give.
It's just like karma. You got to keep it going and keep it up and right and positive.
Right.
For young women watching, what's the lesson from your journey they need to hear tonight? And young men.
I think one of the biggest things is believing, in yourself. There's this small inner voice sometimes that wants to tell you you're not good enough.
Mm, that's
You
a
know,
fine voice. Yeah, I hear it.
And it's so easy in our world of social media, and to compare sometimes. And I just encourage people not to fall trapped to that. Every single person, myself included, is going through something you're not aware of, right? We all go through different seasons, and we all have challenges. And so sometimes when we, see things externally, and we think, oh, everything is so wonderful and everything is so grand, it makes you feel like something's missing or lacking. I always encourage people to focus on, what you have, the gratitude you have, and don't worry about the lack. Because when they talk about the law of attraction, and what your intentions, and what you like, that energy that you carry, it doesn't matter if I have $5 in my bank account or if I have 500 million in my bank account, right? It's what's in your soul and your heart and your energy. That is what's you're going to attract. And so if you have 500 million in your bank account, and you're negative, and you're still upset, and you're focusing on everything, I wish I had more, and you'll never have enough, right? And so it's just making sure that, go deep inside, and just focus on you and your journey, and whoever you believe in your higher, self, or God, or whoever you believe in. Like I always say, have faith. You hear it all the time, but to put it in your daily actual life, faith over fear, because self-doubt and fear will trap people. And they think they have to get everything right and have clarity to move forward. I'm like, no, you just move forward, and you adjust and you pivot. I don't ever have it figured out. I still don't have it figured out, right? But I learn, and I continue to grow and surround myself around good people. And I know I belong in every room. It doesn't matter if I'm a janitor, or I'm a doctor, or I'm a dame. I belong in every room.
And you're going to bring excellence to every room. Doesn't matter. Exactly.
It's
Because
just
you
the
do
mindset.
it from your heart. It doesn't matter. Doing the dishes at night, whatever it is, you can do it, or you can do it. And you might as well do it properly. with
Exactly.
intention.
Exactly. And so you do it well, right? Whatever position it is. And so I come with the same energy if I'm washing dishes, I'm doing your nails, I'm cooking your food, I'm checking your eyes, or it doesn't matter what role I am. I'm still going to show up as the best me.
We love that about you. You're so sweet. And you speak on stages worldwide. What's the one question audience asks you that surprises you? Are there still some of those out there? Something that surprises you that comes from an audience that you're just like, huh,
Something that surprises me. Hmm. Trying to think if anyone's ever actually asked me something that catches me off guard.
see, folks, she's
I
hard
don't
to
know.
catch off guard.
I don't know. I'm not really sure. I usually whatever comes to mind, whatever comes from my heart or mind, I speak it. So I'm not really sure if I've caught anything just yet that I can't quite answer. But
Okay. Um, so you've built meaningful relationships across continents. I think we already know your secret for connecting so deeply, just truth, love, honor, kindness. What else would you add to that list?
hmm, that is, just coming up with the just pure intention. I don't expect anything in return. Usually, whatever comes in, most people give with the expectation of having something given back. And I think that's not a pure intention. And so I think if you give, whether, whether I ever get anything back, I don't,
Think about it.
it sounds crazy, Cynthia, even though people think because I've achieved whatever this thing that I'm result driven, I'm actually not result driven. It's everything, it just happens to go whatever way it goes, but I don't expect a certain outcome. And so I put my heart in whatever put my mind in whatever I'm building and creating. I just do it with all my heart. And however it's received, it's going to get received. However it's going to turn out, it's going to turn out. But I don't actually have written results and expectations. And it sounds weird because people are like, no, you have to have goals. You have to have results. You have to have this is the outcome. This is what you put in. This is what you expect to put out. And I know it sounds weird, but my mind doesn't work that way. And so when Jaime was he's very business oriented, business plan, blueprint, right? I'll just go and do something. If someone asks me and I just really in my heart, I want to serve and I just want to do it, I just go and do it. I don't ask for anything. I don't expect anything. And that opens up a lot of doors authentically.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really been part of my journey. Honestly, when people are like, really? I'm like, yeah, really. That has been just how organic a lot of these relationships have built. And yeah, so when people are like, what are your next 5-year plans, your 10-year plans? What are your numbers? No, I don't, my mind doesn't think that way.
It's because you're perfect just the way you are.
It's so my husband makes fun of me. He goes, you're just in this flow state. You just kind of go with the flow. And business doesn't work that way. I was like, well, I don't know, but it seems to be working, right?
You got you, lover, for the other stuff.
I've got you, lover, to do all the checks and balances. So I am. That's why I say I'm so blessed because he compliments me.
It's perfect. The yin and the yang of a perfect relationship. Going through life, and we know it's not easy, but enjoy the ride, ladies and gentlemen. So for someone who feels they've arrived too late to their dream, what advice do you give them? What do you say?
It's never too late.
I agree.
If you're waking up today, if you're on this call, it's not too late. I don't care if you're 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever. It's never too late.
It's never too late.
Never
It's never too late to get more educated or do something new. You are devoted to education. What's the one scholarship or mentoring moment that meant the world for you to give?
I mentor the youth quite a bit. And some of those directly, like I'll give you an example of my own nephew who was suffering a lot of mental anxiety, social anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. And he stayed with me for a couple of years. He interned under me. And I took him to my everyday, wherever I went. Well, if I went to my practice, whether I did my real estate, when I went speaking, when I went, wherever I went, I said, if you want to come with me and intern with me, I just want you to follow and see what a typical day is like for me. And so he would go volunteer with me. He would go do charity work with me. He would do whatever, right? And in that, the first year that he spent really a big amount of time, it transitioned his mindset, and I could see his heart start to be alive. Before, all he would do is be by himself, play video games all day, and be socially isolated. But from that year of being with me and me just guiding him, just by love, not judging him, because he was disciplined very firmly because he comes from a family that has high expectations of him, right? And so everyone's unique. Everyone has their own gifts in a different way. And so I always encourage him, your uniqueness is your gift. You don't need to be in the social realm of getting this and that. Like, what is your passion? So finding out that he was really talented in poetry and writing. And he started doing a lot of inner work, and he was able to really get out of that mental illness. And he started helping other youth. And to see him make that his life mission to help other youth with depression and anxiety and help bring out their gifts and be a guide for them. He was with me since he was 16. He's now 21. He's on his third book now.
Oh, nice.
Right. He writes a lot of deep, very meaningful poetry, but he's guiding the youth. And so seeing someone I mentor now go and be the ripple effect to go mentor other youth, right? He goes, do you realize how big of a problem this is today with, mental illness? And I was like, I know that. He goes, but I want to be the change. And, you've really inspired me, because I always thought I was never good enough. I was always told that I was too different. I brought him to Dallas, and he went to a private university here, and they treated him really poorly because he didn't look the part. He didn't, and they made him feel really small. And I pulled him from that school, and I said, we're not going to keep you there, right? But he's now found his worth. He's found his voice. He's found life purpose. And we do this for a lot of high school students that we go and speak to in the underserved communities, because, I speak to a lot of different groups, adults obviously too, but the youth, sometimes they're at that molding phase that, sometimes their trajectory of their life can significantly change if someone just believes in them. And that was the one thing that he tells me. He goes, that was the one thing you really always, you believed in me before I believed in myself.
Powerful.
I really think, part of mentoring, yes, you give them technical skills and resources and you teach them the knowledge. But I think the biggest thing is if we teach them to connect with their heart and the alignment of the heart and the mind and all of that, that makes it more impactful, because it's so easy for us just to go learn, and it's all here. But the disconnect is from the heart, right? And so if we can align that, then that makes it more impactful in long term.
It could just be the secret for the whole world right there, ladies and gentlemen. Look around you, see who you can help. And if you need help, see who you can reach out to. We have our friend Eric B. Flanor, who's sending God's blessings to all.
Oh.
Greetings to you, Eric. Love and respect to the doctor and the mermaid. Thank you. Your uniqueness is your gift. You are correct. Indeed, that's just what the doctor said. We're all fearfully and wonderfully made. And you certainly do show that, both you, Eric. And you too, Dr. Hoa. Um, your title is Dame Dr. Hoa Nguyen. What does being knighted represent to the little girl from the refugee camp?
I've always said titles don't mean much to me, but I think what it does give is just an collaboration. It opens more doors, is
Mhm.
what it does for me.
Puts you
Um,
in more rooms with the right people, and you open to the other contacts and the other mentors and see how other people are doing it. That's
right.
what we do here is, connecting is all what you need to do, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing is it opens more doors. It's funny because people will treat you sometimes based off of your title, who they think you are. And so I remember, in my earlier years working in the service industry, how poorly I've always been treated.
Ooh.
Right? And so I never want people to feel that because I know how it feels to be treated as such. And so I never want to get my ego or my head big and inflate it by a title. But it does open doors. That's the reality of it. It allows me to enter more doors and be able to make bigger impact and collaborate because of those titles sometimes. But I'm very careful to not let my ego get inflated because of those titles.
Yes. Um, it's challenging though, but it gives you such a bigger audience so you can do more good.
It does. And the little girl that was in the refugee camp or, from those humble beginnings, that little girl is, I had to do a lot of healing, Cynthia, because it wasn't just financial. It was a lot of hardship in many different ways. But as an adult, I've learned different tools to heal that inner child and to love that inner child, that fearful little girl. So I embrace all versions of Hua, not just the version of me that I am now, but that little girl that didn't feel like she had a voice, you know.
Oh, give you a hug. Yes.
Mm.
For anyone facing language or cultural barriers, how do you turn them into superpowers?
Not taking it personally, I was bullied significantly growing up.
Mm,
But I never let it get to my heart. Even when I was physically hit or anything like that, or verbally bullied and things of that nature, I never took it to heart and let that gave me more fuel to keep going forward. So I don't let others, and I don't know where I got that resiliency and at a young age, but I remember at fifth grade, I would read books on like man's search for meaning. I would read books that were the personal development world I entered very young.
yeah, 5th grade. Whew.
And so that gave me a lot of different perspective. And because I moved around so much, I was like in 18 different schools at a young age. I learned to adapt and I
Mhm.
learned to just be able to focus on my lane and not worry about what people thought about me or what they said about me.
Yeah, actually, I do know. Being the daughter of a military officer, I moved 26 times, and I was always amazed. I was what I considered exactly the same, and in some places, I was, like, the most popular, in some places, I was the least popular, and I didn't change anything,
Thing.
and I
Wow,
feel like
26 times?
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
I'm
I had
trying to
no idea.
that's what I told you, our lives had so many parallels. I was like, you lived in Alexandria, Virginia, I lived in Alexandria, Virginia. You went to Mississippi, I lived in Mississippi. You went to New Orleans, I marched in New Orleans parades when I was in what, 7th grade? Yeah, 7th grade, I think. And I was just like, wow, we were just like this.
It's intertwined.
All those
So you
places that
know the
you live,
journey. You know the journey of adapting into so many different places.
and you just count your blessings and go, okay. And you see what your next adventure is and what you can learn and not learn from someone.
Absolutely.
You help people create the lives they desire. So what's the first question you ask someone who's feeling lost? Like, what would you have asked yourself when you were feeling lost? You would have said, Hoa, you're going to be a doctor someday. No?
You know, I pivoted a lot. I didn't grow up saying I was going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
You
I think you didn't know at the time. You just kind of
you just
fell
go,
into it because
right. Kind of goes,
you liked your partner.
all right. But I always ask myself, or I ask others, like, what is it that really matters to them the most, right? And I take inventory. I've always journaled, even when I was really, really young. I still journal till this day. And I ask people to really reflect and write down after they meditate and calm their mind and kind of open their heart and do a writing exercise and kind of journal like what is really in their heart. If I had all the money in the world, I can be anywhere with anyone, what would I really be doing, right? And it kind of gives me a focus on why would I be doing that, right? And even if I'm not ready to be in that position, that's where my heart is. And so there can be positions where it doesn't, maybe jobs that I can take that don't necessarily quite meet that purpose yet, but I know in the longer run, like this is the journey, right? And it's all about the journey and enjoying that journey right there. Because but you have to have some sort of an idea of why you're doing what you're doing. If you're just doing it to be busy, then you have really no clue why you're doing it. But I always write, what do I enjoy? What am I good at? Like and does that resonate? Like, does it give me energy? Like, does it freaking excite me to wake up?
When you can't, you're like, I better revisit
Right?
that
I was
one.
like, do I enjoy it? And if I didn't get paid a dollar, like, would I do this for free? And would that still bring me joy? And so, and you can have certain things that you're like, yeah, I got to do this. That doesn't necessarily bring me joy yet, but it's a stepping stone for the next thing. But while I'm doing this, I'm going to give it my absolute best. And I know there's things I'm still going to learn while I'm doing this, right? And so it's okay, like, for people to feel like I don't have it all figured out. I tell people I have never had it figured out, and I still don't have it figured out. I, you know, it's adjust, go, adjust, go, adjust. So when people write down, like, you have to have full clarity, and that's what gets people stuck. They think they have to have a full map of clarity for them to take action to create what they want to create. I'm like, you'll never get the needle moving if you wait until you have full clarity and have everything planned out. It's not going to be perfect. You just have to go out and do it and then adjust. And if you can have mentors or people in circles that can guide you along the way and leverage their expertise to help you along the way on what you want to do, even better to collapse that time frame. But get started. Like, just get started.
Need momentum for sure.
One step and get momentum and keep going, right? And then you can pivot if you feel like it's not in alignment. You can change. You're not stuck with whatever you're doing.
I say yes. We got a lovely message here from Jacqueline. Thank you so much for joining us. Wow.
Hi, Jacqueline.
Country is amazing. Both of you are blessings, as are you, Jacqueline.
As are
We are
you.
very happy to see you. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your support. We're having a wonderful time. I wish you were here to have tea with us.
All right. Our
Cheers.
mastermind reunion.
Yes. Did you see we had a picture of you in the beginning? If you missed the beginning, you'll have to go back. Eric says, good stuff, Doc. There you go, Doctor.
Thank you, Eric.
And you also are doing so well with Jaime, your Dr. Jaime. So for couples building together, how do you and your husband support each other's big visions? Because you really have to make sure you've got support to back you up during times to celebrate and times to figure out a better way.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very intentional in putting our relationship as
You
priority.
sure are. Good.
We're very intentional about that. And so communication, we do separate immersion and personal development. And so it's very important that we go alongside. We have our own personal development. And then we also, as a family and as a couple, do a lot of things that we immerse and build together. Sometimes it's in the personal lane, sometimes it's in the relationship lane, sometimes it's in the business lane. But we try to do a lot of that together as much as we can. And we're very honest and open about it. If something does not, like, we're not going to always be in agreement. Obviously, we're two totally different people. And so when you're building businesses, it's also important that we don't make decisions without one another's support. And so if it's a big decision, if he's not on board, we're not moving forward. If I'm not on board, we're not moving forward. And so we do want to make sure it's a collective effort and that we review and understand each other as best as we can. And there are hard decisions sometimes where I say no and he says yes, and I say yes and he says no, right? But the agreement from the very beginning is, especially if it's a big decision, if we're both not on the same page, we don't move forward. And that's kind of how we've been able to actually stay out of a lot of things that could have gotten us into really big trouble. Our gut feeling, our intuition, sometimes, you go by numbers and you go by everything that looks good. But if your intuition and your gut says, nope, it just doesn't feel right, or the energy is off, and we need to wait, or it's a no, it always winds up better that way if we listen to our inner intuition and gut feeling, like that first instinct. But we are, Jaime and I take time away from our businesses to celebrate our wins. And we're very good about, working through our challenges too in business. All businesses will have cycles. And so, we're very good about staying grounded and making sure we take care of ourselves and our mental health so that we can come up with resolutions when we are going through challenging times together. And so we don't shut each other out if we're having a hard time. That's when we get even closer and we immerse even deeper.
Good lessons here. Good pearls of wisdom. You're soaking these all up, my dear audience. I am. For immigrants watching tonight, what's the one truth America, the world, taught you about possibility?
I'm so grateful for being able to come to America. Like, I just know if my parents didn't leave everything they knew to come to, to flee a country, and then they didn't know where they were going to land. They just wanted freedom for us to have an opportunity. And my dad passed away 32 years ago. Unfortunately, he was the one who led the boat. He rescued 45 people, came to the U.S. Unfortunately, when he came to the U.S., we were struggling so much that he fell into depression and became a really heavy alcoholic. And so, unfortunately, he died when I was 13 years old and never really got to see me go through.
He's watching you now.
Yeah. But that was really, but I think about it. So when I have hard days, I said, I'm so grateful to be here, and I know if we weren't here in America, I wouldn't have all the blessings. And my dad and my mom, even though he's not with me here physically, I know he's here with me spiritually. But I think about it, he's always been really good about serving and helping others, even when he was depressed. And, he just said, I remember before he left, he said he felt like a failure because he came and took our family to America, and we were living in a trailer in the projects, and we went through a lot of bad stuff. But, I am so grateful, so grateful. So if anyone's watching and you are living in the land of opportunity, I'm living proof of it. And a lot of people are living proof of it. And, even if you're not where you want to be yet, if you're here and you're breathing and you have freedom, that's gratefulness in itself. So, yeah. But can you believe that 32 years ago, my dad was only 40 something years old, how old I am now?
Mm. Yeah, I can. My mother died in her 40s. There
Wow.
we go, being intertwined again, of leukemia, and left me with, 2 sisters and a brother, and I just felt your pain in the loss and the fact that they're not with us to enjoy this. Eric says, "Beautiful, your success, gratitude, and joy is the fruit of his struggle," because that angel is watching you, guiding you, protecting you as it's protected me, and now I'll just ah. What's his name?
My dad?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nah?
Yeah.
Ga? Thank you, Ga, for this wonderful gift, this wonderful woman that you helped come and saved and brought her so Dr. Hoa Nguyen could be here to give us light, encouragement, and proof that it can be done, and drop pearls of wisdom to appreciate all that we have right now. Each and every one of us, no matter what stage you're in, we're living like kings and queens. We really, really are. I thank God every morning for all of my blessings. Just, hey, taking a shower, right? Some people
Yeah.
running water that you can put whatever temperature you want. Take a moment and go, get cleansed and be beautiful and just appreciate every moment because someone invented that and put it together for us. And someone keeps the pipes going and someone keeps the water running and
Yes.
water coming and it just flows through us. And we are so blessed. That was so beautiful. Mm. I have many questions, but you took my breath away.
Mm. I'm so grateful that we crossed paths, Cynthia, and our lives are so intertwined. Our stories are mirror a lot,
It's
and
amazing. Life's amazing. The pool that we, yeah. So, Dame Dr. Win, Win, next for your mission and your other books and your initiatives, and how can the audience follow your journey and get connected with you? And let's put up your websites because don't you just want to like give her a hug, ladies and gentlemen? Just give her a virtual hug, like ah. Here you go. Be the one23.com. And what else do we have? At Dr. Win, Hoa Nguyen. And she will answer you eventually, but do be kind because the whole world is reaching out for a piece of the pearl. And you know, there's only so much to go around. When you have that much of a big heart, be the one. Be the one who takes the pearl and uses it in your own life every morning. And re-listen to this, the way that she starts her morning with meditation and being grateful and not jumping out of bed, taking the moments. How long do you take? Do you have it like set for time or do you go with how your day is flowing or is it 5 minutes, an hour, 2 hours? Like what's your
so it depends on the day and if I'm traveling or not. If I'm at home, I usually meditate an hour in the morning and an hour at night. And I know that's a lot for a lot of people. So even if it's 20, 30 minutes morning and evening, it really sets the tone for the day. But sometimes I go even longer depending on how deep my meditation goes. But I've done 10-day silent meditation retreats fully immersed, where I do 11 to 12 hours of meditation per day for 10 days. But on a typical day, I usually do an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening.
wow, I have not tried a 10 or 11 day meditation immersion before, I must
It,
say.
it
Yeah,
will change, like when you want to go deep, deep, that will do it.
I'll have to let that percolate. So, as we percolate this Christmas season that is coming along, and we know that we can be kinder, better, sweeter, and not only to others, but to yourself too, ladies and gentlemen. What are your closing words, Dr. Hoa Nguyen?
I think, love and kindness is the key. If we can just focus a little bit more love, a little bit more kindness to yourself and spread that to others, but it starts from within.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Wish
Love
everyone
you.
a happy holiday.
Happy holidays, everybody, and I'll see you next week on the Cynthia Manion Show at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, wherever you are. Share this beautiful, beautiful moment out. Take in the seeds that you need and breathe and realize you're perfect just the way you are. You were born. You have a reason. Always appreciate that. Good night. Good day. Good morning, wherever you are.